My name is Yizhao Martins, licensed marriage and family therapist, couples therapist. So you are dating and you spotted some signs of ADHD, and you suspect that your date might be pretty far out on the ADHD continuum. Now what? Here, you really like that person, but there are certain things that really bothers you so much that you can't bite your tongue anymore. So here comes the billion-dollar question that you want to ask. What do you do? Do you simply ask them, hey, do you have ADHD? I read this article, I watched this YouTube video, and it seems like you fit the profile. Oh, no, absolutely no. So unless you want to break up with them right then, even that's the case, it's kind of rude. So how about following what I call the BINS, B-I-N-S? Let me tell you what they are. B is behavior or behaviors. So tell them first, what are some of the behaviors that bother you? And try not to pile up all these little incidents together to the point that's overwhelming their nervous system. See something more general, like I noticed that you've been late pretty frequently for our date. That is a statement. That's an observation. Or something like, I see that you tend to not contact me in between our dates, like texting or phone calls. That's also an observation with some personal perception to it, because people's frequency of contact might be different. Or something like, it seems that you've been forgetting about important dates for us, like birthday and anniversaries. That can be a fact, an observation, if they really forget about it. So now is the I, big I, is impact. So you share about how those behaviors, the first statement that you gave, has impacted you, but try to be a little bit more vulnerable here. I am inviting you to show a part of you that's a little bit fragile. So you want to get to the core of how you feel about that. Right? Something like, well, when you are always late, when you are not always late, but when you tend to be late for our dates, the times you're late for our dates and did not really inform me ahead of time or give me enough notice, I have such a hard time planning my day, and I tend to get stressed out about the things, the tasks that I can't finish in that day, and I stop. That's one example. Now, the other one could be, I feel left out and sad when I don't hear from you between our dates, or when you forget about my birthday and our anniversary. Things like that. So you get to the core of your deep feelings and how that impacting you, making you vulnerable and weak and not feeling that great, but not to turn to criticize them, but to say, focus on yourself, your own experience. And then here's the N, which is me, and you wanted to deepen it and distill it a little bit more, and then project your voice and your energy to show them who you are by stating your needs distilled from these feelings and behavior caused the feelings that you have. Examples are like, it is very important for me to feel respected, cherished, cared for in a relationship. Know the keywords relationship. This is also a test. When you make that statement, you're really putting your feet down, saying, this is what I'm looking for. This is what we're doing. In my opinion, are you on the same page? And notice the response. If they start to shake, they start to waver, and they start to having doubts, and then this might be another conversation to have, that are you in a relationship? Are you building towards something together? And here comes the S, is solutions. But I'm not asking you to offer solutions right away, but to inquire and ask them for solutions. So start with something like, how can we make this work? This is a follow-up after last question, last statement, the needs. When you are in a relationship, after you have that conversation, you're pretty sure you're working towards something together, then you can ask, how can we make this work? That's an open-ended question. And then you can be a little bit more specific, saying, do you have any ideas or suggestions or resources? I may have some ideas. I may have something to share, and ask for permission. If there's I have no clue. Can you share with me what you read and what you know? And this is a good point to introduce some reading materials or listening materials, something fundamental, like educational, like what is ADHD, what are signs of ADHD, how that impact your work, your life, your relationships, stuff like that. Here's when you can give them some articles and books and audiobooks and YouTubes for them to get familiar with that information, but more related to directly to them. And if they're already ahead of the game and they already acknowledge they have ADHD or they're suffering from that, and you know more resources like ADHD coaching, medication, and couple therapy to work particularly on your relationship that's impacted by ADHD, then you can offer it as a resource. And I only offer it as a resource for reference. I'm not attached to any of this. I'm just brainstorming with you because I care about our relationship and I want to make it work. So I'm curious if you, as the viewers, are engaging your dates with those information and conversation. What are their responses when you talk about that from your heart, a place that with curiosity and love and care? So I can predict two categories of response. One, they tend to deny those behaviors happen, or deny the impacts on you, or they're trying to dampen it by saying, oh, I'm not that bad, it's not that bad, I'm not always late, just, there's only a couple times, only that time is because blah, blah, blah. They get defensive right away, right? Stop right there. This is not an issue of ADHD anymore. There might be some other issues like narcissism, self-absorption, self-centeredness, and do check out Dr. Ramani's videos. I will put her channel down there. She specializes in narcissism and narcissistic spectrum disorder. So you can get more educated there. It's potentially possible for someone who has ADHD on the ADHD continuum and on the narcissism spectrum as well. They're not exclusive, but not saying they're absolutely fine together. You wanted to use your judgment and do your assessment. So those questions are a good starting point. So that's one category, basically red flags, right? And the other side is they actually acknowledge those behaviors and the impact on you, and they feel sorry about that, and you can tell they express their concern as well. Depends on where they are, their awareness on the ADHD and their own symptoms, and they may not know what to do and where to go from there. But they're open to get more educations on it, more resources, and they're open to work with you. That is a good sign. Proceed. That's a green light. And then again, dating someone is a discerning process. So I encourage you to always ask questions and sit down and talk from a place of your heart and yourself, and to ask yourself internally, is this the right relationship for me? How much resources I have to invest in this relationship to work on this with my partner? Until next time.